Welcome to our new set of lessons. These are called the Power English lessons. The reason they are called Power English is because in these lessons we're gonna do two things. Number one, you're gonna learn English. Of course, as always, we have them in stories, which are our favorite lesson for most of our members. But the content, the focus, the topics in these lessons are gonna be focused on the psychology of learning and the psychology of success. Now, these ideas, they're not just my ideas. In fact, they come from a lot of other people. They come from people like Tony Robbins, who is a famous success coach, Robert Anton Wilson, Joe Vitale, Robert Kiyosaki, and Moad. So I've taken a lot of ideas from a lot of different people about this topic of the psychology of success. And the reason that we're going to talk about this in these lessons is that in my experience, most English students struggle and fail because of psychology, not because of methods, not because of teachers. Those things are important. But Tony Robbins talks about the fact that psychology is 80% of success. And I think he's right based on my experience with many English students. Psychology is 80% of success. So 20% are the method you use to study. 20% are the schools you go to, the teachers you have, the books you use. Those are important. We talk a lot about them. But the other 80% is psychology, your motivation, your emotions, how you manage your time. All of these things are in fact much more important. What I saw in my classes were that the enthusiastic students, the energetic students, the optimistic students always learned much faster. They succeeded. The ones who failed, the ones who dropped out and quit, the ones who struggled had the opposite mentality. They had a very negative mentality. Their motivation was low. They tended to be pessimistic. They felt that they weren't good at English. They had ideas that English was very tough, very difficult. They struggled. They didn't have enthusiasm for English. They didn't love English. So in these lessons, we're going to talk about how can you manage your emotions. How can you develop that strong, powerful, enthusiastic attitude towards English? How can you maintain it so that you don't get bored? So that in fact you get stronger and stronger with English, and your psychology gets stronger and you succeed. You reach your goals. You speak fluently, effortlessly. So among teachers, English teachers, language teachers, this topic is called non-linguistic factors. Non-linguistic factors. So what non-linguistic factors means is things that are not related to language learning directly. When we talk about language learning research, when we talk about the best method to use when you learn English, those are linguistic factors, right? They are related to the language. Non-linguistic factors means not related to the language. This has nothing to do with English. It's more about psychology. Motivation, for example, is a non-linguistic factor. So all it really means is just emotional factors, and there are actually many research studies about this topic. Dr. Stephen Krashen down in Los Angeles, probably again the expert in language acquisition and language learning, has done many studies, and he has also looked at many studies, and he's found that non-linguistic factors are equally or in fact more important than the linguistic factors to determine who is successful ultimately. What that means is that things like your emotions, things like your peer group, the community that you belong to, your feelings about English are as important or more important than the method you're using to learn English. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to learn? Well, one of the things we have to do is create a daily English ritual. You need to engage your physiology. That means you need to engage and use your body. You need to engage and use your subconscious. That's how you start to affect and strengthen your psychology. So we have to strengthen our psychology. What does that mean? Well, it means affecting your body and your mind at the same time, so that you actually feel better. Your emotions are happier while you're learning English. And I know this is the opposite of what you learn in school. You probably didn't feel very happy when you were sitting in your English classes, but when you're learning with effortless English, it's very important for you to feel happy, for your body to feel good, for your mind to feel good, for you emotionally enjoy the process of learning English. Of course, it's just more fun. You're gonna like it a lot better. But the other benefit is that you actually will learn faster. You improve your grammar faster. You improve your pronunciation faster. You remember vocabulary words better, longer, and faster when you feel good. So there's a very practical reason for doing this too. So we're going to talk a lot in detail in these lessons about how to do this. But just right now, during this introduction, let's talk a little bit about a daily plan. Something you could do immediately, right now, today, to start improving your success with English by changing your psychology. So here's a little ritual, a little plan you can follow every day to start improving, to start feeling better, and therefore improve your motivation and learn English faster and faster, better and better. And it's very simple. So the first thing you're gonna do is, when you get up in the morning, the first part of this plan, this daily plan, you want to get into a peak emotional state. Peak means top. For example, the top of a mountain. When you talk about a top of a mountain, the very top we call the peak. So we are saying a peak emotional state. It means a top emotional state or top emotional feeling. It means you want to feel great, not just good. You want to feel really great. That's the first thing you need to do before you listen to any English lessons. Before you study, you want to first be sure that you feel great. How can you do it? Well, it's very easy. I recommend, for example, using music. And I actually do this myself in the morning. Most mornings, I will put on some great, exciting music that I love, jump around, act like a crazy person, and get myself feeling energetic and happy. Do that first, before you listen. So move your body. We're gonna talk about this more in detail in later lessons. But just for now, every morning, when you get up, first put on some music, some energetic, happy music that you like, smile, move around. Do that for maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Then, when you're feeling really great, your body is moving, you feel like you have energy, you're happy, then start your English lessons. The first thing you want to listen to is the main article, the main audio. So the first thing is listen to the main talk, and you can read this as well the first time if you cannot understand easily. You can read the transcript and listen at the same time. Do this perhaps 2 times per day, starting with the main story and reading. Use a dictionary if you need to look up new words. Next, listen to the vocabulary. So in the vocabulary, again, I'll discuss the meanings of some of the difficult words that I used. And again, you can read the transcript of that vocabulary lesson. There's always a transcript you can read if you cannot understand my speaking. If I'm too fast, then read at the same time, it's okay. Next, you listen to the mini story, and the mini story is the most important lesson. The mini story is designed for deep learning. In the mini story, I'm going to ask a lot of very easy questions while I tell a story. In fact, I really ask the story. I don't tell the story. Why am I doing this? Student asks me, why are the questions so easy? Well, the questions are supposed to be easy because I want you to answer fast and automatically. I want you to train your brain, teach your brain to answer very quickly. I don't want you to translate from your language to English or from English to your language. The bad habit will make you speak very slowly. I want you to just answer quickly, automatically, very fast. So that's why I ask so many questions. Like question again, very easy. Your job, answer the questions quickly. You can answer with only 1 or 2 words. It's okay. Short answers are fine. You don't need to answer with a big, long sentence. In fact, short is better. Short is better. So that's the order that you're gonna follow. You're gonna listen to the main article first, 1 or 2 times. You can read as well if you need to. Then you're gonna listen to the vocabulary 1 or 2 times each day. And then finally, you're gonna listen to the mini story 1 or 2 times or more. You can also read the transcript for the mini story in the beginning. Now, another important point. When you listen to these lessons, do not study them. Don't struggle to memorize. Just relax and listen. If necessary, you can read as well, as I said, if you need to. But relax. You're not trying to memorize anything. Just let it come in. Let English come into your ears and into your eyes. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Don't think about grammar. The mini stories will help you learn grammar subconsciously. So don't interrupt that process by trying to analyze it. Don't think about grammar rules. You want to learn like a native speaker, and that means you're gonna learn the patterns of English in its mini stories. You might not be able to explain them, just like native speakers cannot explain grammar rules, but that's okay. You want to be able to use them correctly. That's the important part. So again, you want to relax. Don't study. Do not think about grammar rules. Do not try to translate. Just relax and listen. That's why we call it effortless English. It should be effortless. You should be smiling, relaxed, and just listening. Now, another important point, you want to move your body while you're listening to the lessons. This will keep your energy high. So what do I mean by that? Well, a really easy way to do this is just to walk. You've got an iPod, you've got your earphones in, listen to the lessons while you go for a walk. You can do 2 things at one time. You exercise, you improve your body, and you listen to English lessons and improve your mind at the same time. If you're sitting in the train, then maybe you just stretch your body a little bit. If you're in your car, you can move a little bit. You can move around in your seat. If you're at your house, you can go crazy. You can jump around. You can exercise very strongly. You can go to the gym. Do something with your body while you're listening to the lessons. It will keep your energy high. It will keep you feeling better. You'll actually learn faster by doing that. And finally, a very important point, you need to use our deep learning method. That means you listen to each lesson set for 1 week or more. So for example, this introduction has got 3 parts. There's main lecture, a main talk, there's a vocabulary section, and there's a mini story. Well, those 3, I want you to listen to those 3 every day for 7 days. You want that repetition. Repetition is very important. You want it to go deeply into your brain. Just 1 time is not enough. Even if it's very easy for you, if you listen, you understand everything, it's simple. Still follow the deep learning method. Still listen to the whole set for 1 week or more. On the other hand, if it seems very difficult, listen longer. 2 weeks is okay. Doesn't matter. The point is you want it to go very deeply into your brain, which means you want it to be almost effortless. It's going to just go into your brain and eventually just come out without you thinking. That requires deep learning. It requires a lot of repetition. So that's kind of your basic plan for using these lessons. Again, first, you're gonna get into a peak state. You're gonna get excited. You're gonna jump around. You're gonna listen to music. You're gonna feel great. Then you're gonna listen to the main lecture, the main audio, 1 or 2 times. Then you're gonna listen to the vocabulary 1 or 2 times. Then you're gonna listen to the mini story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times every day. And remember, relax, feel good, and enjoy the lessons while you listen. Okay, that is it for our main section for this introduction. Next is the vocabulary.
Okay, hello. Welcome to the vocabulary for the introduction to power lessons. Let's start. Okay, let's talk about our first word is linguistic. Linguistic. Linguistic means related to language or about language. It's an adjective. So linguistic factors, I mentioned linguistic factors. A factor is an element. For example, it's a piece of something. So linguistic factors means elements about language, element related to language, or even more simply, things related to language. And then in this talk, I talk about non-linguistic factors. Of course, nouns means not. It's negative. So non-linguistic factors means things not about language, things not related to language. So in a talk, I'm talking about, for example, 2 different things. One are emotional factors, emotional elements, emotional things, and then the other is linguistic factors. So for example, study method, that's a linguistic factor. It's connected to language learning very directly. It's a linguistic factor. It's a language related thing. On the other hand, emotion is not directly related, is not directly connected to language learning. At least most people don't think so. So it's a non-linguistic factor. All right, great. So that's linguistic and factor. So let's talk about next, subconscious. I mentioned the word subconscious. Sometimes you hear the word unconscious. It's not a synonym for that, but subconscious means something that is under your normal thinking. So for example, you're quite hungry. Suddenly you found that you are hungry, but you're busy. You're thinking about something else. You're reading a book, but kind of under your thinking, you have this idea, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. It's not a conscious thought. It's not a strong direct thought. It's not at the top of your brain. Sub means under or below. So it's kind of in the bottom, at the back of your brain. This sort of quiet, small voice, or this quiet, small thought. So that's subconscious. So I mentioned that you want to engage your subconscious. Engage means to use or to, it's like turn on. So turn on your subconscious, to use your subconscious, to engage your subconscious. It means you want to use those emotions that are in the back of your brain or the bottom of your brain. You want to use that quiet voice. You want to use those strong emotions that are kind of in the back because they are very powerful. So engage your subconscious means use those. It means choose to use them in a powerful way. I also talk about engaging your physiology. Physiology means related to the body. It's related to the word physical, right? Physical means body, something that is connected to your body and in your body and not your brain, not your mind, it's body. And physiology, again, is a similar idea. Physiology means what is happening in your body. It's the systems in your body. It's a part of your body. So again, engage your physiology means use your body, right? Engage is turn on or use physiology. Body. So engage your physiology, engage your body, use the parts of your body, use the systems in your body. That's what that means. All right, great. Next, let's talk about the word peak. So peak, I mentioned in the main story. Peak means top. Now, often we use this to describe, for example, a mountain. The very top of a mountain, we say it's the peak, the mountain peak, the peak of a mountain, the very top part. We also use it in the phrase peak performance. Or, of course, performance means performing or doing something. Peak means top. So it means doing something in a top way, in a very best way. Sometimes we use this with sports. Say he's a peak performance athlete. He's a top performing athlete. He's the very best performing athlete. So again, that is peak, meaning top, very top, or sometimes meaning best. Okay, so peak meaning top. So emotional state, I talk about peak emotional state. So top or best. Peak emotional, of course, feelings and state. State means kind of your situation or experience. So an emotional state means it's a general emotional feeling you have right now. So I might say I'm in an angry emotional state. That means it's kind of a long-term idea. It means generally for some time I feel angry. Now this is a very formal kind of academic or intellectual way to say I'm angry. Okay, so this is a little bit more formal kind of English. But again, an emotional state, it's a general emotional feeling, and it has a little bit of the idea of a long time. So a peak emotional state or top or best emotional state, it means feeling very good for a while. Right, say I'm in a peak emotional state. I'm feeling very good for some time. Okay, now that is the vocabulary lesson for the introduction to power. Of course, if there are other words you didn't understand, you can use the text, use the transcript and dictionary and just find the word in your dictionary and write it on the text, and you can learn more vocabulary that way. It's very difficult for me to guess exactly which word you know and which word you don't know because every student is different. So I will cover some of the main words. The words I think are quite important. But if there are other words you don't know, just use the text and a dictionary and write the meaning on the text. That's fine. Okay, I will see you next for the mini story. Thanks. Welcome to the mini story for Introduction to Power English. Let's get started. In the mini story, I will tell a kind of strange, funny, stupid story. Usually, actually, I will ask the story. It means I will ask a lot of questions. The reason I ask these questions is to get a lot of repetition, so that the grammar structure, the grammar pattern,
will go into your brain deeply because you're getting it again and again and again. You don't need to think about it. Just relax. Listen to the story. Answer the questions quickly. If you need to, you can pause your iPod, pause your computer, and answer the questions. Or if it's too fast, just listen. You don't have to speak. Speaking is optional. If you can do it, if you want to answer the questions, great. Shout them out. If you don't, if it's too difficult, or you're in a train with other people, that's fine. Just listen and relax. That's okay too. Okay, let's start. There was a beautiful woman named Sophie. Sophie had to play Tiger Woods in golf in just 1 month. Who had to play Tiger Woods in golf in just 1 month? Well, Sophie. Sophie had to play Tiger Woods in golf in just 1 month. What kind of woman was Sophie? Sophie was a beautiful woman. Who did she have to play? Tiger Woods. She had to play Tiger Woods. Who had to play Tiger Woods? Sophie. Sophie had to play Tiger Woods. In tennis, right? No, not in tennis. In golf. Sophie had to play Tiger Woods in golf. When did Sophie have to play Tiger Woods in golf? In 1 month. Sophie had to play Tiger Woods in golf in just 1 month. Was Sophie worried? Or was Sophie happy? Sophie was worried. Why was she worried? Because Tiger Woods is the #1 golfer in the world, and Sophie was not good. Was Sophie a good golfer? No. Sophie was a terrible golfer, in fact. Was Tiger Woods a good golfer? Oh yes, of course. Tiger Woods was a great golfer, and he still is a great golfer. So Sophie went to Japan. Where did she go? Japan. Sophie went to Japan. Who went to Japan? That's right, Sophie. Sophie went to Japan. Why did she go to Japan? To find a golf coach. Of course, she went to Japan to find a golf coach. Where did she go to find a golf coach? To Japan. She went to Japan to find a golf coach. To find what? A golf coach. She went to Japan to find a golf coach. She found a coach named Yoda. What was the coach's name? Yoda. The coach's name was Yoda. Was the coach's name Bob? No. The coach's name was not Bob. The coach's name was Yoda. Whose name was Yoda? Well, the coach's name was Yoda. What was Yoda? Yoda was a golf coach. He said, I can help you learn golf, Sophie. He said, if you use your subconscious, you will become a golf master. What did Yoda say? He said, if you use your subconscious, you will become a golf master. Why did Sophie need to use her subconscious? Yoda said, if you use your subconscious, you will become a golf master. So, if she used her subconscious, what would she become? A golf master? He said, if you use your subconscious, you will become a golf master. Would she become a tennis master? Or would she become a golf master if she used her subconscious? Well, if she used her subconscious, of course she would become a golf master. What did she have to use? Her subconscious. She had to use her subconscious to become a golf master. Who said this to Sophie? Yoda. Yoda said this to Sophie. What did he say? He said, if you use your subconscious, you will become a golf master. So Sophie tried to use her subconscious. She closed her eyes every time she played golf. Yoda said, use your subconscious. Close your eyes. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Did Sophie become a golf master? No, she didn't. She did not. Every time she hit the ball, it went into the trees. Did Sophie try to use her subconscious? Yes, she did. She tried to use her subconscious. She closed her eyes and tried to use her subconscious. When she tried to use her subconscious, was she successful? No, she wasn't. She was not successful when she tried to use her subconscious. Every time she hit the ball, it went into the woods, into the trees. Poor Sophie. So Sophie went to Hawaii. Who went to Hawaii? Yoda? Not Yoda. Sophie. Sophie went to Hawaii. Why did she go to Hawaii? To find another golf coach. Why did she go? To find another golf coach. Tiger Woods go to Hawaii? No, Tiger Woods didn't go to Hawaii. Why did Tiger Woods go? South Carolina. Tiger Woods went to South Carolina. Why did Sophie go? She went to Hawaii. Why did Tiger Woods go to South Carolina? Well, to find a coach. He also wanted a golf coach. He found an army golf coach. The army golf coach said, you must run 30 miles every day. Did Tiger Woods close his eyes when he played golf? No, he didn't try to use his subconscious. Tiger Woods ran 30 miles every day. He did not try to use his subconscious. Sophie had tried to use her subconscious. Tiger Woods did not. So Sophie went to Hawaii and she found a surfing golf coach named Farley. What kind of golf coach did she find? A surfing golf coach. She found a surfing golf coach. Who found a surfing golf coach? Sophie. Sophie found a surfing golf coach. He said, if you practice and surf every day, you will always succeed. What did she have to do? She had to practice golf while surfing. Did you have to practice golf and surfing at the same time or at different times? Well, at the same time. She had to play golf while surfing at the same time as surfing. So she got on the surfboard. She was surfing and she was trying to play golf at the same time. Who was trying to practice golf while surfing? Tiger Woods? No, not Tiger Woods. Sophie. Sophie was trying to surf while playing golf. She was trying to play golf while surfing. Was she successful? No, unfortunately not. She got very wet, but she did not improve. Was Sophie successful practicing golf and surfing? No, she wasn't. She fell into the water every time. Every time she got wet. She was still a terrible golfer. Was Tiger Woods still a terrible golfer? No, of course not. Tiger Woods was still a great golfer, the best golfer. So, who was still a terrible golfer? Sophie. Sophie was still a terrible golfer. She had tried to use her subconscious and she failed. She had tried to surf and play golf and she had failed. Now, she was very worried. Only 1 more week to play Tiger Woods. She went to San Diego. Why did she go to San Diego? Well, of course, she went to San Diego to find another golf coach. Why did she go to find another golf coach? She went to Tony Robbins. Who was Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins was a peak performance coach. Was he a peak performance coach, or did he teach people to do things badly? Well, of course, he was a peak performance coach. He taught people to do things very well. Who was a peak performance coach? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was a peak performance coach. Was Sophie a peak performance coach? No, she wasn't. Sophie was a terrible golfer. Tony Robbins was a peak performance coach. Sophie said, "Help me, Tony, help me." Tony said, "If you engage your physiology, you will be a master." What did he say? He said, "If you engage your physiology, you will be a master." Did Tony want her to use her mind, her brain? No. He said, "If you engage your physiology, you will be a master, your body." He didn't want her to use her body very well, or did he want her to use her mind, her brain very well? He wanted her to use her body, her physiology. He said, if you engage your physiology, if you use your body, you will be a master. He wanted Sophie to engage her physiology. Tony Robbins wanted Sophie to engage her physiology. Tony Robbins wanted Sophie to use her body correctly in a peak performance way. Tony taught her to get into a peak state. Did he teach her to feel bad? No. He taught her the opposite. He taught her to get into a peak emotional state. He taught her to feel really great. Was she in a peak emotional state or a bad emotional state? She was in a peak emotional state, a top emotional state. She felt top, great, wonderful, best. Who was in a peak emotional state? Sophie. Sophie was in a peak emotional state. Then Tony said, now practice golf. Did Sophie practice golf while she was in a peak emotional state? Yes, exactly. Sophie practiced golf while she was in a peak emotional state. Did she practice golf at the same time that she was in a peak emotional state? Yes, at the same time. She practiced golf while she was in a peak emotional state. She improved very quickly. Finally, the day came. Sophie played Tiger Woods. Tiger was very tired. He looked very tired, but Sophie was in a peak emotional state during the whole game. Finally, at the end of the game, Sophie won. She beat Tiger Woods. Tiger cried, "Sophie, you're the best now." He wrote a check to Sophie for $85 million. How much money did Tiger give Sophie? $85 million. He wrote a check for $85 million. He gave Sophie $85 million. How much did Sophie earn? She earned $85 million. Did Tiger Woods earn $85 million or lose $85 million? Tiger lost $85 million. Was Tiger happy? No, he wasn't. Tiger cried and cried. He was very sad. Was Tiger in a peak emotional state? No, Tiger was in a terrible emotional state. He was sad. He was depressed. He was in a very bad emotional state. How about Sophie? Was Sophie in a great top peak emotional state? Oh yeah. She was in a top, great, fantastic peak emotional state. She was happy. She was excited. And now she was rich. Okay, that's the end of the mini story for the introduction to Power English. Again, listen to this mini story once or twice every day for 7 days or more. The questions, the repetition will help you effortlessly learn the vocabulary, and you'll be learning grammar too. It's kind of a secret grammar method. Don't think about the grammar, please. Do not think about it. Just relax. Listen to the questions. Answer the questions. And every day you will start to learn these basic patterns of English. Again, and again, and again, more deeply each day. So again, listen to this lesson every day for 7 days or more. If you get bored, move your body, jump up and down. Feel better, and then start again. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the main audio for emotional mastery. Let's talk about emotional mastery in more detail now. How can you manage your emotions? How can you control? I don't like the word control, but let's just say manage your emotions so that you feel better and stronger while you're learning English. So it's easy to say that, oh, feel good when you're learning English, but unfortunately a lot of people feel bad when they're learning English. A lot of people feel bored, or maybe just in your life in general you're tired, you're working hard, and it's difficult to learn English also and still feel energetic and happy. So we have to learn some techniques, some method to manage our emotions, to make sure our emotions are feeling strong while we're learning. And remember, again, that emotion and psychology are 80% of success. A lot of people talk about this in academic world. Dr. Stephen Krashen, again, he's the top expert on language acquisition, language learning, and language education. And he talks about this idea of non-linguistic factors, which basically means psychological and emotional factors, that they are more important than the method you're using. Tony Robbins, the famous peak performance coach, talks about this as well. He says directly success comes from emotion. 80% of success is emotion. The other 20% is the method. It's how you do it. So we've got to master our emotion to master English. How are you going to do that? Let's talk about that now. There are two keys to emotional mastery. One is your psychology. Again, it's your body, how you use and manage your body. And the second is your focus, your mental focus. A lot of this comes from, again, Tony Robbins and Joe Vitale and some other peak performance coaches. So I'm using their information and I'm applying it. I'm focusing it on this process of learning English and how you can take those ideas and use them to increase your English learning power. So you learn faster so that you speak better. So again, we have two ways to manage our emotions. One is psychology, through the body, and the other is through focus, mental focus, what you think about again and again and again. In this lesson, we are going to talk about psychology, managing psychology. So this is an easy way to change your emotional state. So let's imagine that you are tired, you've gone to work, you've worked a very long day, you're tired, and you're thinking, I don't want to study English. How can you change that feeling? Well, you can try to talk to yourself, oh, I should study, I should feel better. But usually that doesn't work, right? Usually you still feel tired. What you have to do is start with your body. Change your body. What does your body look like when you're tired? Usually shoulders are going to be forward. Is your head going to be up or is your head going to be down? Well, usually when you're tired, your head is going to a little bit down. Your chin will be kind of down. What about your face? Will you have a big smile on your face or will your face be kind of loose? Well, it's usually gonna be more loose, right? You're not usually smiling big when you feel tired. And your eyes, where are your eyes looking usually when you're tired? Again, down. So the whole body tends to be forward and down when you feel tired. So an easy, very simple way to change how you feel, how you physically feel, your emotion in your body, is to just make small changes in the way you're using your body. Try it now. Lean forward. Pull your shoulders forward. Put your chin down. Look down. Pull your body into a tired position. Notice how you feel. Now let's change it. Pull your shoulders back and your chest up. Bring your chin up. Bring your eyes up. Look up. And now, even if you don't feel happy, I want you to smile really big. Put a big smile on your face. Fake it. Look stupid. Okay, so a big smile, shoulders back, chest up, eyes up, and a big stupid smile, a big grin on your face. Do you feel differently now? You probably do, just by changing the position of your body. I'm doing it right now myself. I can feel that I feel more energetic. I feel happier just by shifting my body. When I go back, I put my shoulders forward and my chin down and my eyes down. I can feel some energy going down, right? The energy in my body gets less. When I pull my shoulders back, my chest up, my chin up, my eyes up, I'm smiling big, just faking it, acting like a crazy person. I feel much better. And you do too. So that's such an easy way to change how you feel, to change your emotional state just by shifting your body. It's a simple way to get control of your emotion and to master your emotion. So here's what I want you to do every time you listen to this lesson or any English lesson or any kind of English studying. I want you to first change your body. Before you listen to those lessons and while you're listening, I want you to think about, consciously think about putting your shoulders back, pushing your chest up, chin up, eyes up, and make yourself smile. You probably didn't smile much in your English classes when you were younger, but this time I want you to smile. Even if you feel like you are being stupid, it doesn't matter, do it. You're gonna change your body, and by changing your body, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna have more energy. And when you have more energy, when you feel better, you learn faster. There's a lot of research about this, and it shows that people who have more energy, who are feeling good emotionally, learn faster. People who are tired and bored learn much more slowly. What's another way that you can change your emotion by changing your body? Well, another very easy way is through breathing. How you breathe determines the energy in your body and how you feel. So, for example, if you have very shallow breath, you're breathing very shallowly, small little breath, tight chest, you're gonna feel different than if you're taking big breaths that are deep. There's just 2 breaths. Already I can feel in my body a lot more energy. So taking deep breath, it's such a simple way and yet it's very powerful. That's why in a lot of spiritual traditions, in Buddhism for example, and also in martial art, in sports, you find that they will focus on breathing. They will tell their students to breathe more deeply. They have a very controlled way of breathing because they know by breathing very deeply, they can change their emotional state, in their physical state, increase their energy, increase the liveliness in their brain, the alertness in their brain. So this is another thing I want you to do before you learn English. Any kind of studying these lessons or a book, anything. I want you to focus on breathing deeply, maybe just 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, I want you to take a deep breath. Hold it for maybe 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then let it out. Then do it again. Hold it and breathe out. And again, and again. 1 or 2 minutes, deep breathing. Of course, at the same time, remember, you're changing how your body is moving and how you're sitting. You're changing your posture. Of course, posture means body position, so you're going to have a strong posture. It means you're going to have the shoulders back, your chin up, your eyes up, chest out. That's number 1. And number 2, you're going to breathe deeply. Hold and out. And again. So again, strong posture, shoulders back, chin up, eyes up, and then deep breathing. So do this for 1 or 2 minutes every time before you study English. I know it seems crazy. It seems so simple. And it will totally change the way you feel while you're learning. Because you will feel differently. You will learn differently. Just a simple technique can increase your learning by 2 or 3 times. 2 or 3 times faster because your brain will be awake when you're listening to English. When you're bored, when you're tired, your brain is half asleep. You're just not learning efficiently. When you're breathing deeply and your body is in a strong posture, you'll feel better and you'll learn faster. Of course, the next factor we always talked about a little bit is your face. You gotta control your face. Why? Because your face shows emotion. But your face also can create emotion. Just by smiling big. Pretending, looking like a stupid person, doesn't matter. Just by faking it, just by making yourself smile big, you'll actually change your emotion, you'll change your feeling. It's very hard to feel depressed and tired when you have a big smile, even if you're forcing a smile. So that's another thing I want you to do. Everyone on the train will think you're crazy while you're listening to effortless English, but I want you to have a big smile every time while you're listening to the lessons. Right now, do it. So you're gonna have a strong posture, you're gonna breathe deeply, and you're gonna smile big every time, before doing and after your English lessons. What's another way we can control our physiology and therefore influence our emotional state? Well, another thing about the body is, the body likes to move, so we're gonna talk about movement. You're gonna have a strong posture, you're gonna breathe deeply, you're gonna have a big grin on your face, smiling, and then you're gonna move. Because movement creates energy, and energy wakes up your body, so that you learn faster. I mentioned this in an action a little bit, we're gonna talk about it more now, in detail. You should always be moving your body while you're learning English. This is the opposite of everything you learn in school. In school they told you, don't move, sit in your chair. Why? So you're sitting in your chair, and what happened? Your body became stiff, you became tired, you were bored. Well, this is the opposite. You're not in school anymore, you're learning independently. It means you're in control now. And so I want you to do the opposite of what happened in school. I want you to move your body every time you're learning English. This can be very simple. If you're sitting in a train, okay, it's hard to walk around, yeah, so you could just stretch your body, consciously stretch your leg a little bit, stretch your arm, move your head around in a circle. Small little stretches, just make sure your body is moving even a little bit. Even better is to go for a walk. You have an iPod, you're listening to the lessons, get outside, walk on the street, walk in the country, walk in the woods, it doesn't matter. Get out and walk. Move that body, keep your posture strong while you're walking. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes up, chest up, breathe deeply while you walk.
And of course, smile big while you're walking. Everyone will think you're crazy. It doesn't matter. Use this system. I promise you're gonna have a totally different experience while you're learning English. Nothing like the schools you went to before. So it's very important. If you love to exercise, you can run while you're learning English. Put on your running shoes, get some exercise in your body at the same time that you're learning. You can do two things at the same time. So walk or run. Keep that body moving at the same time, always. It's gonna keep energy coming into your body, flowing into your body. That wakes up your brain, and that makes you learn so much faster. Another idea is go to the gym. You can go to the gym, bring your iPod again and work out, lift weights, or whatever you do at the gym. Again, you're using your body, engaging your body at the same time. Okay, so let me just review very quickly how you're going to use physiology to master your emotions. Number 1, posture. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes up, chest up. Number 2, breathing, deep breathing. Number 3, your face, a big smile every time you're learning English. Even if you feel terrible, I don't care. Smile big while you're listening to these lessons. And then finally, number 4, movement. You're always going to be moving your body somehow. If you're in your car, if you're in a train or the bus, you're going to maybe make small movements, but ideally, the best thing to do is to be outside, walking, moving that body, or in a gym, or even running. So you're going to change your physiology. Now what happens if after maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you start to feel tired again? You're listening to the lesson and you're starting to get a little bored. Oh, AG keeps talking. Oh God, oh, I'm getting bored with this. Well, you can just quit. That's what most people do. But don't do that. What you need to do is just wake your body up again. So pause. Pause that lesson. Stop. Give yourself a little break. Change. Listen to some exciting, fun music again. Get up, dance around, move, smile big. Get your posture strong again. Breathe more deeply. Wake up your body maybe for 5 minutes. And then back to the lesson again. Do this every time. Anytime during a lesson you start to feel tired or bored, just pause. Take a break, a 5-minute break, and wake up your body. So anytime, doing a mini story, doing a main article, doing a vocabulary lesson, it doesn't matter. Pause anytime you feel your energy going down. Change. Listen to favorite music. Jump around, move. Make your posture strong again. Smile bigger. Start feeling great. Get that energy in your body, then return to the lesson again. Okay, so that's it for the main article here of emotional mastery. You're gonna focus on your physiology. You're gonna focus on mastering your body, using your body to change your emotion, using your body to change the energy that you feel, and therefore using your body to learn English much, much faster. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye bye.
Okay, welcome to the vocabulary lesson for emotional mastery. Let's get started. A few of the words I used in a main speech and main article. First, let's talk about posture. Posture. So posture means the position of your body. It's how you stand or sit. So we talk about good posture. For example, good posture means your shoulders are back, your back is straight, your chin is up. That's what we usually call good posture. And that posture will mean, again, you're leaning forward, your shoulders are forward, your back is not straight. So again, posture just means the position of your body, how you position your body, how you hold your body. That's posture. Another word I used was grin. Grin can be a noun, it's a thing, or it can be a verb. It's something you do, So to grin means to smile, but to smile in a big way. When you grin, you're not using a small smile, you're using a very, very big smile. Again, it's also a noun. So if you have a very big smile on your face, we say this is a grin. He has a big grin. You could use both, I guess. You could say he's grinning a big grin. Okay, so grin again is a large smile, or the act of doing a large smile. Another phrase I used was tends to be, right? He tends to be an angry person. Tends to be means usually is. So he usually is an angry person. He tends to be an angry person. So it's something that usually happens. Usually is true. Mostly is true, but not always. Not always. So I could say tomorrow tends to be happy. It means she usually is happy. It's her normal thing to do or normal thing to feel, but not always. Sometimes she's not happy. So tends to be usually is, or often is, or mostly is. Okay, another word I used was shifting. Shifting your body, and the verb is to shift. To shift your body means to move it. It really means kind of to change its position. A shift is a change of position. So if I have my head down and then I shift it, and maybe I move it to a different position. Now it's up. I shifted from down to up. We use this in other areas, not just body. You can use it for driving, for example. When you're driving, you can shift from first gear to second gear, or reverse. You're going backwards, and then you stop. You shift the car, and you change, and you go forward. So again, you're changing the gear's position. Okay, so shift is a change in position. I use the word shallow breath, or shallow breathing. And I also use the word deep breathing, or deep breath. So they are opposites, of course. Deep, we also use this with water, for example. Deep water means water that goes down very far. Shallow water means just water that's not very deep, right? It's the opposite. Water that doesn't go down far. So shallow breathing is the same idea. It means a breathing that is very small, that doesn't go down into your body very much. So that's shallow breathing, right? It's small little breath, right? The air doesn't go down deep into the body. That's shallow breath or shallow breathing. When we talk about an action, and the opposite is deep. Deep breathing is, right, the air goes down into my body very far, very deeply. But shallow doesn't go deeply. Okay, so we use this a lot with breathing. Shallow breathing and deep breathing, they are opposites. Another word I used is force, to force, using it as a verb, an action, to force something or to force yourself to do something. It's a very common phrase. The whole thing, again, to force yourself to do something. For example, force yourself to smile. So force means to try hard. It has an idea that you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. You make yourself do something difficult. You make yourself do something maybe you don't want to do. So you use effort, you use your energy, you use your power to do something. So when you force something, it's the opposite of really relaxed. It's the opposite of doing it effortlessly. So force yourself to smile means use your energy. Make yourself smile even if you don't want to. Use energy, force it. Try hard to smile. So that's to force yourself to do something. Another word I used is depressed or depression. So depression is the noun. Depressed is the feeling. It's an adjective. Like I feel depressed. It's how you feel. So depressed means very, very sad. feeling very, very sad and bad about yourself, about your life, about everything. So if you say I'm sad, usually that's more specific. You have a reason. I'm sad about something. I'm sad because I lost my job. But if you're depressed, it's very more general kind of feeling. You're depressed about everything usually. I'm depressed because I lost my job and I have no money and I don't have a girlfriend, like many reasons. Depression is deeper than just sadness. So again, to be depressed, you say I'm depressed or I have depression. This is general kind of word in English. It's not always, but generally we say I have or now a thing, I have depression, not I have depressed. So say I have depression. But if you're talking about an adjective, then you use I am depressed. So they mean basically the same thing. I have depression means I have the feeling of being depressed. I am depressed is more common. It just means I feel very, very sad. Okay, well, that's the end of the vocabulary lesson for emotional mastery. Listen to it a couple of times. In general, the vocabulary lessons are the least important lesson. So if you listen to them a few times, if they are boring, if you understand them all, it's fine. You can skip the vocabulary. I want you to focus mostly on the main article, the main speech, and on the main story. Those are the two most important lessons. The vocabulary gives you a quick little lesson about some of the words and phrases. Listen to it a few times until you know these words. But once you know the words, focus on the main story, the main article, and on the mini story. Okay, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the mini story for emotional mastery. Let's get started. Vanilla wanted to be rich. Who wanted to be rich? Vanilla. Vanilla wanted to be rich. Who was Vanilla? Well, Vanilla was a beautiful, intelligent woman. What kind of woman was Vanilla? She was a beautiful, intelligent woman. And what did she want? She wanted to be rich. She said, "Show me the money." What did she say? She said, "Show me the money." Who wanted a lot of money? Vanilla. Vanilla wanted a lot of money. She was beautiful. She was intelligent, but unfortunately, she was poor. So Vanilla went to Las Vegas. She went to Las Vegas to get rich. Where did she go? Las Vegas. Why did she go to Las Vegas? To get rich. Of course. She went to Las Vegas to get rich. Who went to Las Vegas to get rich? Vanilla. Vanilla went to Las Vegas to get rich. She walked into Caesar's palace. Where did she go? Caesar's palace. She walked into Caesar's palace. Did she run into Caesar's palace or did she walk into Caesar's palace? She walked. She walked calmly into Caesar's palace. What is Caesar's palace? It's a casino. Caesar's palace is a casino. Did Vanilla go to a casino in Japan? No. She didn't go to a casino in Japan. She went to a casino in Las Vegas. What was the casino's name? Caesar's palace. The casino's name was Caesar's palace. And where was it? Las Vegas. It was in Las Vegas. She walked into Caesar's palace with a big grin on her face. Was Vanilla happy or sad? She was happy. She had a big grin on her face. A big, huge smile. Was she grinning or was she frowning? She was grinning. She had a big smile on her face. She was grinning. Who was grinning? Vanilla. Vanilla was grinning. When was she grinning? When she walked into Caesar's palace. When she walked into Caesar's palace, she was grinning. Why? Well, because she thought she was going to become rich. She was grinning because she thought she was going to become rich. In fact, she knew she was going to become rich. Why was she grinning? Because she knew she was going to become rich. She walked to the blackjack table. Which table did she walk to? The blackjack table. She walked to the blackjack table. Did she walk to the poker table? No, not a poker table. She walked to the blackjack table. Who walked to the blackjack table? Vanilla. Vanilla walked to the blackjack table. What was she doing? When she walked to the blackjack table, she was grinning, of course. She was grinning when she walked to the blackjack table. She took out money from her pocket. How much money did she take out of her pocket? $6,000. She took $6,000 out of her pocket. Where did she take it out of? Out of her pocket. She took $6,000 out of her pocket. Whose pocket? Vanilla's. Vanilla's pocket, of course. Her own pocket. She took $6,000 out of her own pocket. She put the money on the table. She bet all the money on the first game. How much money did she bet? Well, out of it. All $6,000. She bet all $6,000. And did she win? Or did she lose? Well, Vanilla lost. Vanilla lost all her money. She was really, really poor. She cried. "Oh no! I lost all my money!" Your mind, what about Warren Buffett? Who's Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett is the richest man in the world. Does Warren Buffett play blackjack? No, Warren Buffett does not play blackjack. What does he do? He buys stocks. He buys what? He buys stocks. Stocks are part of companies, like a piece of company. So Warren Buffett buys stocks. He goes to New York and he buys stocks. So Warren Buffett went to New York at the same time that Vanilla went to Las Vegas. When Vanilla was in Las Vegas, where was Warren Buffett? New York. He was in New York. Warren Buffett was in New York when Vanilla was in Las Vegas. Did Warren Buffett lose money in New York or make money? He made money. He made $60 billion. How much money did Warren Buffett make? He made $60 billion. How much did Vanilla make? Zero. She made no money. In fact, she lost money. Vanilla lost $6,000. Warren Buffett made $60 billion. Did Vanilla grin? Well, no. First, she cried. But then she changed her physiology. She pulled back her shoulders. She put her chin up. And she grinned. She said, "I will become rich." Did Warren Buffett grin after he made $60 billion? No, he didn't grin. He frowned. Warren Buffett always frowns. Who frowned? Warren Buffett frowned. And who grinned? Well, Vanilla grinned. She cried and then she grinned. Next, Vanilla went to Alaska. Why did she go to Alaska? She went to Alaska to dig for gold. What did she want to do? She wanted to dig for gold. Who wanted to dig for gold? Vanilla. Vanilla wanted to dig for gold. So she got a shovel and she started to dig. Every day, she dug for gold. 5 days. 10 days. Digging for gold. Digging for gold. After 60 days, her back hurt. Why did Vanilla's back hurt? Because she had bad posture, of course. Vanilla had bad posture while she was digging. Did she have good posture? Or did she have bad posture? Vanilla had bad posture while she was digging. What kind of posture did Vanilla have? Bad. She had bad posture. Was her back straight?
Or was it bent? It was bent. Her back was bent. She had bad posture while she was digging for gold. Where did she have bad posture? Well, in Alaska. She had bad posture in Alaska while she was digging for gold. When did she have bad posture while she was digging for gold? After 90 days. Vanilla's back hurt and she had no money. She started to cry. Oh, my back hurts and I have no money. Did she cry? Did she feel bad? Was she depressed? Yes, Vanilla was depressed. How did she feel depressed? Was she super sad? Yes, she was depressed. Why was Vanilla depressed? Because her back hurt and she had no money. But then Vanilla changed. She changed her posture again. She smiled. She brought her shoulders back. She breathed deeply. She said, I will become rich! So she went to Singapore. Where did Vanilla go next? Singapore. That's right, of course, Singapore. She went to Singapore. Why did she go to Singapore? Well, it's obvious. She went to Singapore to start a chili business. What kind of business did she start? A chili business, not a cold business. Chili, C-H-A-L-A, little peppers that you eat, very spicy. She started a chili business. Okay, so she grew chilies, hot chilies, in her apartment and sold them to restaurants. So she grew broccoli in her apartment and she sold them to restaurants. Not broccoli, chilies, not broccoli, chilies. She grew chilies in her apartment and she sold them to restaurants. What did she sell? Chilies, hot chilies. She sold hot chilies to restaurants. In which city? Singapore. In Singapore, she sold hot chilies to restaurants. Where did she grow the chilies? She grew them in her apartment. She grew them in her apartment and she sold them to restaurants. What did she sell to restaurants? Hot chilies. She sold hot chilies to restaurants. So, what did Vanilla want? Vanilla wanted to be rich. Where did she go first? Las Vegas. She first went to Las Vegas. She played blackjack. She lost all her money. Where did she go next? Alaska. She went to Alaska. She dug for diamonds and she got a bad painful back. No, she didn't dig for diamonds. She dug for gold. She went to Alaska. She dug for gold, but her posture was bad, so her back hurt. No money and a painful back. And finally, she went to Singapore. She grew hot chilies in her apartment and sold them to restaurants. And she made $28 billion. She became the queen of hot chilies, the aging queen of hot chilies. Vanilla became super rich. She got the money. Did Vanilla become super rich? Oh yes, she did. How much money did she make? $26 billion? Oh no. $27 billion? Oh no. $28 billion. Vanilla made $28 billion. She was beautiful. She was intelligent. And finally, she was super rich. Okay, that is the end of the mini story for emotional mastery. How about you? Was your posture good during this lesson? Were you smiling while you listened? Were you breathing deeply while you listened? Were you moving your body as you listened to the story? I hope so, you should. If not, it's okay, but next time be sure, strong posture, deep breathing, big grin, and moving your body as you listen to the story. And one more thing you can do, if you're at home, if you can be loud, you can listen to the story and shout your answers. So if I say, what was her name? You shout, Vanilla! You can do this in a train, on the bus too, if you want to. In San Francisco, we have a lot of crazy people, so if you do something like this, nobody cares. So you can do that too. But if you feel strange about shouting in public, then maybe do it at home. If you listen at home, stand up, move your body, and shout the answer loud, strong posture. Don't be shy about speaking English. Teach yourself to be strong when you speak English. And remember, posture, breathing, big smile, big grin, and move your body as you listen to every lesson. Okay? I will see you next time. Bye bye. If you have picked up this book, chances are you wanted to speak English for a while. Maybe you've even taken classes. You probably need English to improve your career. Maybe you want to travel internationally or study abroad. You know that English is a key to international business and international travel. So let me ask you something. Do you feel nervous or shy when you try to speak English? Do you still struggle to understand what someone is saying to you, despite years of study? Are you embarrassed about your pronunciation or worried you speak too slowly? Are you frustrated that despite all the time you've invested in learning English, you still can't speak it? Despite your goals, is it difficult for you to actually use English in your job, travels, or studies? Do you sometimes feel that you'll never master spoken English? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're not alone. In fact, you're fairly typical. Most English students feel this way. Most adult English learners are stressed and frustrated about their speaking ability. Some feel completely hopeless and feel they'll never be able to speak English powerfully. Not because they are bad at languages, but because, like you, they've been taught using the wrong methods. The good thing is that it doesn't have to be like this. There's nothing wrong with you. You can learn to speak English naturally and with ease. You can use English effectively in your job, travels, and studies. You can feel relaxed and confident every time you speak English. In fact, as a long-time English teacher, I've helped thousands of students all over the world become fluent and powerful English speakers. How did I do it? I did it using a teaching method I developed called effortless English. Effortless English enables you to learn English naturally and automatically, the way children learn before they enter school. Too often, English classes get so focused on tests, textbooks, grades, and levels. Students forget why they're there in the first place. They forget about the real-world goals of a more successful career and exciting international travel. With effortless English, you never lose sight of the fact that ultimate goal of learning a language is communication. Instead, you learn to speak English both quickly and with more precision. Effortless. I understand if you're skeptical, particularly if you've been trying to learn English the traditional way. You've put in hours memorizing vocabulary lists, doing grammar drills, reading boring textbooks. How your thinking can speaking English possibly be effortless? Believe me, I feel your pain. Back when I started teaching 15 years ago, my students were all excited to begin conversing in English. And I was excited to help them. At that time, I taught in the usual way. I used the textbooks, and I focused on teaching grammar. I thought this was the best way to teach, and none of my students complained. I still remember one particularly intelligent student of mine from Venezuela, named Gladys. Gladys was determined to speak English well. Talk about effort. Gladys attended every one of my classes. She always sat in the center of the front row. I can still picture her eager and smiling face. She took detailed notes. She listened to every word I said. She also studied at home. Every day, Gladys studied her English textbooks for 4 hours or more. She also tried to learn 15 new vocabulary words by memorizing word lists. Gladys was my star student, and I too was sure she would succeed. 6 months later, however, she still could barely speak English. Her speech was hesitant and unnatural. She constantly made grammar mistakes with even the simplest sentences. Her pronunciation was difficult to understand. She still thought in Spanish and tried to translate to and from English when she spoke. Worst of all, Gladys felt nervous every time she tried to speak English. Speaking English was a painful experience for her. Gladys was extremely frustrated. After so much effort, she had barely improved. As her teacher, I too was frustrated. I was sure Gladys would improve quickly, and I couldn't understand why she had not. I followed all the traditional teaching methods. I used the standard textbooks and the standard classroom activities. Gladys was intelligent, disciplined, and consistent, and yet her English speaking barely improved. Sadly, I realized that Gladys wasn't the only one who had not improved. Her classmates also had barely improved. It was frustrating, and I felt like a complete failure as a teacher. But when I asked my colleagues for help, it turned out they had the same problem. Very few of their students were improving either. At that point, I realized that something was wrong. Something is wrong with standard methods for teaching English. The worst part for me was that everyone accepted the situation as normal. The other teachers didn't seem to be concerned about their students' lack of progress. Other teachers were using the same methods and getting the same poor results. In most parts of the world, students study English in school for years, yet the vast majority of them never learn to speak English well. After years of study, they still have trouble with real English conversations. They still feel nervous and shy about speaking. A few years after my experience with Gladys, I got a job as an English teaching assistant in Japan. I was excited and eager to help these young students learn my language. I still remember my first day. I was sitting at the front of the class next to the main teacher, who was Japanese. As the students came into the room, they saw me and giggled nervously. They sat down and continued to shyly glance up at me. They were sweet and curious. Then the class started. The main teacher wrote an English sentence on the board. I don't remember the exact sentence, but it was something like, "The little girl goes to school." The teacher pointed to the sentence and began to talk in Japanese. The students all grabbed their notebooks and began writing. Everyone was very serious. Next, the teacher circled the word "goes." She pointed out the word and continued speaking in Japanese. She talked and talked and talked in Japanese. The students wrote quickly, filling their notebooks with information. Finally, the teacher drew a line from the word "goes" to the word "girl." And then she talked more, on and on and on and on in Japanese. This continued for the entire class. The teacher drew lines, circles, and squares. She used different colored chalk, and she continued speaking in Japanese. I was totally confused. I'm a native speaker of English, and I was sitting in beginning English class, yet I couldn't understand anything in the class, except for that one sentence. I was thinking to myself, what could this teacher possibly be talking about so much? It's just one sentence. Yet the teacher spent an entire hour analyzing, explaining, and dissecting that one simple sentence. Finally, at the end of the class, the teacher asked me to read the sentence aloud for pronunciation. I read the sentence a couple of times, and I was the only real English input the students got that day. Sadly, the same patterns repeated every day. Day by day, I watched the students' enthusiasm and curiosity disappear. They became bored, they became stressed and confused. Every day they wrote pages of notes, mostly in Japanese. Every day the teacher talked and talked and talked, mostly in Japanese. I couldn't understand why an English class was being taught mostly in Japanese. During the average class, the students were listening to Japanese 90% of the time or more. They heard very little English. No wonder they never learned to speak. No wonder they were frustrated and confused. Honestly, it broke my heart to watch as the school crushed these students' natural love of learning. It was terrible to watch them grow bored, frustrated, and stressed. And 6 months later, none of the students could speak to me at all, not even the simplest conversation. This kind of situation is repeated in English classes all over the world. My experience with Gladys in Japan convinced me that traditional English language education is broken. I knew there had to be a better way to help my students speak English than what we were doing. So I began the search for a better way. I devoured books about English teaching. I constantly tried out new methods in my classes. I read research studies. I traveled and taught English in other parts of the world. What surprised me was how little the actual research supported traditional teaching methods. As eminent University of Southern California linguist Stephen Krashen noted, we acquire language when we understand what people tell us and what we read. There's no need for deliberate memorization. If most of us knew intuitively that the best way to learn English was naturally, I wondered why were so many teachers and students still choosing to use unnatural, ineffective, and old methods of teaching. Eventually, I went back to school and got a master's degree in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. Along the way, I did more research and discovered the incredible new methods that would become the basis for the effortless English program. I also did my own informal research. I searched for excellent English speakers who had learned the language as an adult. Whenever I found such a person, I interviewed them. Over time, I noticed patterns. Most of these successful speakers were independent students who mastered spoken English outside of school. Most of them used similar methods, the very same method supported by my master's research. Most avoided the traditional method used in most schools. I changed my teaching, and when I used this new strategy in classes, my students improved quickly. I couldn't believe it. They finally learned to speak easily and powerfully, and even better, they were enjoying themselves. After years of searching and experimentation, I had finally found methods that worked. Effortless English today. Over the years, I've continued to test and adapt this method and develop the effortless English system. I've organized the program to include 7 essential rules for learning English, which have led countless students to fluency. To build on the success of my classes, I created audio courses and began offering them online to English students around the world. My audio lessons are currently bestsellers in 25 countries. In addition, I founded the Effortless English Club to create a national English learning community where students can communicate with other members. I wanted to create an environment that encourages confidence and success with English because so many learners struggle with nervousness, shyness, frustration, and fear when speaking. In fact, for many people, these negative emotions are the worst part of speaking English. In our Effortless English Club, students are able to interact on our forums and speak with each other online. It is an extremely positive, encouraging community where everyone is free to play with English, make mistakes, and communicate without fear. In my opinion, we have the best members in the world. Every one of our members is focused not only on their own success, but also on helping other members achieve success too. The result is a supportive family of learners and national leaders. This book is another resource for students looking to speak English powerfully and fluently. It is designed to guide you on the road to fluency, to speed your journey to confident, powerful, effortless speaking. In this book, you will learn how to reprogram your negative emotions about English, develop confidence when speaking, and follow a powerful and effective road to fluency. You'll also learn how to use English to improve your career and achieve the success you want. Over the next several chapters, I will describe the effortless English system in detail, explain the philosophy behind it, and tell you why both psychology and method are important for learning language. I also tell you exactly how to use the system to reach your goals. Join me and enjoy the journey. You will have nothing to fear by leaving the old education system behind. So let go of the pressure, the stress, the fear, and the boredom. I promise you, this natural learning system is fun, friendly, and energetic, the opposite of most school classroom. There's no pressure, just friendly encouragement and support. Trust me, I've helped students everywhere in the world, and now I'm eager to help you. I promise, I will always do my best to help you speak excellent English. Not lazy English. So, what is effortless English? By effortless, I certainly don't mean lazy English. On the contrary, effortless English is going to be the result of the work you put in every day. By following my system, you will make progress and achieve the result of speaking naturally and effortlessly, unforced, without stress, hesitation, or nervousness. In other words, effortless is a result, not the beginning. Your goal is to speak English effortlessly. You want the words to flow out without thinking, without translating, without worry or hesitation. You want to speak English just as you speak your own native language. Effortless speaking is the final result, and sometimes it takes a lot of effort to become effortless. It is possible, however, to thoroughly enjoy that effort. The example I like to use is that of an athlete or artist in the zone. In the zone means performing excellently and effortlessly. When an athlete is in the zone, at one level, they are working very hard, expending a lot of energy, pushing, totally focused. However, when they are enjoying themselves and completely focused, the activity feels effortless to them. There's no feeling of forcing, straining, etc. In fact, the name effortless English was inspired by the Taoist idea of Wu Wei, or effortless effort. It's a description of that flow state where you can be expending a lot of effort and yet it feels totally effortless and natural, not forced. So the point is that effortless English is not about laziness, quick fixes, or impossible scams, but rather about finding the state of effortless effort, or Wu Wei. Effortless English means you speak English fluently. You don't struggle as you speak. You don't feel nervous or stressed. You don't think about grammar rules or translation. When you speak English effortlessly, you communicate your ideas clearly. You express your feelings powerfully. You focus on connecting with other people, not on conjugating verbs. You thoroughly enjoy the process of speaking English as you work, travel, and learn. My teaching experiences in different parts of the world convinced me that something is wrong with English education. Everywhere I went, it was the same situation. The students were bored, frustrated, stressed, and nervous. Most students, even after years of studying English, failed to speak the language fluently. You are not alone, because it's a global problem. One of my students, Seiko from Japan, described this combination of failure and stress as English trauma. Seiko said that she hated English. She felt that learning English was boring and stressful, and speaking English was even worse. In fact, the thought of speaking to a native speaker immediately made Seiko feel extremely nervous and shy. Seiko felt she had developed a psychological problem with English and had named it English trauma. A trauma is a deep wound or injury. How sad I thought to myself that so many people now think of English as a kind of injury or mental disease. Throughout my teaching career, I've met many students who had similar feelings about English. I discovered that Seiko was not alone. Rather, English trauma is a global epidemic. Though most people feel they must learn to speak English, very few seem to enjoy it. Most who learn the language struggle with the same feelings of nervousness and frustration that Seiko had. As I encountered this problem more and more, I began to look for the root causes. I realized that before I find solution, I needed to understand the problem. Just as a doctor must first diagnose the disease before treating it. Think about it. What is the cause of all this misery and failure? Why do so many people fail to speak English effortlessly despite years of study? What is wrong with English education? The first and most obvious problem I found with schools was the way in which they teach English. Most schools, everywhere in the world, use the grammar translation method. As the name implies, the focus of this method is on grammar analysis and memorization of translated vocabulary. This method breaks English into an endless series of grammar formulas to memorize. Of course, each grammar formula has exception, and this must be memorized too. Schools like the grammar translation method because it appears to be serious, academic, and complex. The grammar translation method fits the way schools teach most subjects, with textbooks, lectures, notes, memorization, and tests. The only problem, as you know, is that it doesn't work. In real conversations, there simply is no time to think about grammar formulas and their exceptions. The failure rate for this method, therefore, is absolutely horrible. Despite the failure of most students to speak English fluently, schools continue to use this method. This is an epic failure of our education system. Recently, because students find the grammar translation method so boring, some schools have added communication activities to their curriculum. Occasionally, the teacher puts the students into pairs or groups. The students then read or repeat dialogues from the textbook. Sometimes they might answer a few questions from a worksheet. Of course, these activities are unnatural, nothing like real conversation. Consequently, the failure rate of communication activities is just bad as grammar translation. Obviously, the English teaching method used in schools did not work. That was easy to see. I knew it. The students knew it. And many teachers know it too, though few will admit it. However, as I continue to investigate the problem with schools, I found even deeper problems in the education system. These problems are less obvious, but in many ways far more damaging to the students. I call these problems the hidden curriculum, because they are the hidden lessons taught by schools. The hidden curriculum. Most schools, everywhere in the world, share a similar hidden curriculum. One element of this curriculum is student passivity. In schools, students are trained to be passive, not active. They sit in chairs, in rows. When they are young, they are told to be quiet and obey the teachers. As the teacher lectures, the students take notes. Later, they are told to memorize these notes in preparation for a test. The message is clear. Learning is a passive activity. You listen to the teacher, you take notes, you memorize notes. The problem is that speaking English is not a passive activity. You must connect with other people. You must constantly ask and answer questions. You must communicate ideas, emotions, and descriptions. You must be ready for the unexpected. You must be spontaneous. You must actively interact. English is not something you passively study, it's something you do. Related to the problem of passivity is the issue of energy. Sitting for a long time is a low energy activity. The longer you sit, the more your energy drops. And your energy drops, so does your concentration. What's worse, we know that some learners need physical movement in order to learn effectively. These people are called kinesthetic learners. The truth is, we are all kinesthetic learners to some degree, because we all benefit from physical movement. Schools stick us in chairs and drain our energy. Eventually, an inactive body leads to an inactive mind. The one right answer mentality. One of the greatest flaws of school education is the idea of one right answer. One right answer is a powerful part of the hidden curriculum. It is a result of using textbooks and tests. In school, you are frequently taught that there's one and only one correct answer to a question or problem. For example, you may be asked to choose the correct verb tense on the test, or you may be taught proper English readings. The hidden message is that teacher's way is always right. Real life and real English is not this way. For example, sometimes I tell a story using the present tense, even though the events happened in the past. This is a technique commonly used by native speakers. However, when English learners hear these stories, many are confused and upset. They are convinced that the past tense is the right answer and the only correct way to tell the story. Some get quite upset and even argue with me about it. These students are so convinced that there's only one right answer that they argue with native speakers. These students have been trained to believe that there's only one correct way to say things in English. The truth is, there are always many ways to say the same thing. We can change verb tenses in order to change the feeling of the story. We can use different vocabulary and different phrases, and we even break grammar rules all the time. One right answer thinking limits and confuses English learners. Effective communication requires flexibility, while the one right answer mentality trains students to be rigid and imaginative. Connected to this problem is another dangerous part of the hidden curriculum, fear of mistakes. This is one of the most negative and traumatizing messages taught in schools. How is the fear of mistakes taught? Through tests and corrections. In not every school all over the world, teachers regularly give quizzes and tests. The teacher asks questions and the students must provide the one right answer. Of course, the one right answer is always the teacher's answer. What happens if the students provide a different answer? They are punished with a lower score. Students are smart, and they quickly understand that in school, mistakes are bad and must be avoided. They also understand that truth is unimportant, and the best way to succeed is to simply give the answer that the teacher wants. Even worse is when a student, already feeling nervous, tries to speak English with the whole class listening. They are just learning, so of course they will make mistakes. When the teacher corrects these mistakes, the student is embarrassed and becomes even more nervous. Eventually, most students try to avoid speaking English because the situation is so painful. By punishing and correcting mistakes, schools punish risk-taking. Little by little, they train students to avoid risk and avoid doing anything they can do perfectly. Yet there's no perfection with English speaking. Even native speakers make mistakes. We make grammar mistakes, we mispronounce words, we forget vocabulary words. It doesn't matter, because we are focused on communicating, not on tests and grades. Of course, the fear of mistakes goes far beyond English class. After years of school, most people learn to avoid risk in most part of their life. School trains them to be passive, rigid, timid, and obedient. This not only hurts your English speaking, it also harms your career and limits your success in all areas of life. Fortune favors the bold. Those who are active, flexible, and passionate are the ones who achieve the greatest success in life. The passive and obedient rarely live their dreams. You'll make many mistakes as you improve your English speaking. There's no need to be upset by this. The truth is, most native speakers don't care. They don't care if you make grammar mistakes. They just want to communicate with you. They want to share thoughts, ideas, and feelings. They want to communicate with you as a human being, not as an English student. To communicate effectively, you must forget the idea of perfection and learn to be flexible. The dirty secret of English teaching. If the hidden curriculum is so bad, why do schools and teachers continue to follow it? The truth about our education system is that the curriculum exists to benefit the schools, not the students. Teachers use this method because they are easier for the teacher, not because they are good for the student. The hidden curriculum creates passive students. It creates obedient students. Passive and obedient students are easier to control, making life easier for teachers and school administrators. Textbooks, for example, make the teacher's job much easier. By using the textbook, the teacher doesn't have to plan new lessons for every class. Planning lessons is hard work, and the textbook makes it much easier. The teacher can simply follow the textbook with minimum effort. Many teachers are little more than textbook readers. Every day they read the textbook to their students, slavishly following the lessons. In my opinion, they can barely be called teachers at all. Perhaps we should call them textbook readers instead. Another benefit of textbooks for the schools is that they standardize learning. By using the textbook, the school ensures that every English class is learning exactly the same thing. School officials like this because it makes testing and ranking students easier. Schools are like factories. The bosses want everything to be the same. The same is true for tests and grades. These provide little to no benefit to English learners. In fact, as we have discussed, tests and grades increase stress and create a fear of making mistakes. Tests and grades are a primary cause of English trauma. On the other hand, tests and grades are a powerful tool of control for teachers. When students fear bad grades, they obey the teacher more. They learn that the teacher is always right because if they don't agree with the teacher's answer, they are punished with the lower scores. Grades are a means of ranking students. Most teachers and administrators are focused on ranking students rather than helping all succeed. In many schools, the official policy is that a certain percentage of students in every class must get poor grades. A certain percentage must get medium level grades, and only a small percentage can be given excellent grades. In other words, the system is designed to create failure for a large number of students. While working at a university in Thailand, I was told directly by my boss that too many of my students had high scores. My boss insisted that I fail more students in my class. I was shocked and angry. I quit the job and purposely failed dedicated students. Sadly, this mentality of designing for failure is present in most schools everywhere in the world. Schools benefit from ranking and controlling students. The grammar translation method also benefits the teacher but not the student. By teaching grammar rules, the teacher can simply lecture from the textbook. Because linguistics is a complicated subject, the teacher appears knowledgeable and thus establishes a position of superiority over the students. Even if the teacher is a non-native speaker with terrible English ability, he or she can pretend to be an expert by teaching complex grammar from book. The shocking truth is that many non-native English teachers, in fact, speak English very poorly. By focusing on grammar, they disguise their inability to speak well. What about communication activities? Surely they are designed to help students. Actually, they are not. These activities, as we discussed previously, are unnatural. They are nothing like a real conversations, and thus do not prepare students to have a real conversations. However, communication activities are great for teachers. The teacher puts the students into pairs or groups and asks them to follow a textbook activity. Often the students simply read a written dialogue from the book or answer a written question from the book. The advantage for the teachers is that once such an activity is started, the teacher can rest and do nothing. While the students go through the textbook activity, the teacher relaxes. It's a secret among English teachers that communication activity are a great way to waste time and avoid work. One particularly horrible version of communication activity is the use of movies. Used correctly, movies can be a powerful English learning tool. Most teachers, however, simply use movies as a way to waste time. They put in a movie, turn on the lights, and push play. For the remainder of the class, the teacher happily does nothing. The students are usually happy too, because watching a movie is far more interesting than grammar, even if they can understand most of the movie. Passive low energy benefits the teacher. Finally, let's look at the low energy situation in most schools. From childhood, students are forced to sit for hours, motionless in chairs. They are told to be quiet and obedient. By adulthood, most people are thoroughly trained. They accept passive lectures and low energy as a normal part of learning. Why would schools and teachers want low energy? Again, because low energy students are easier to manage. A teacher must work much harder with curious, energetic students. Sadly, most teachers prefer the easy way. It's much easier for them to lecture quietly to passive students. The truth is that many teachers are tired and stressed. Because of this, they constantly look for ways to make their own job easier. Their first concern is not the students. They are not obsessively focused on getting better results for the learners. Rather, they just want to get through their workday as easy as possible. There are many reasons for this situation, but the end result for the student is boredom, frustration, and poor results. This is the ugly truth of education. This is the reason you cannot speak English well, despite years of study. This is the reason you find English to be stressful, difficult, and boring. This is the cause of English trauma. This is the source of the problem. Happily, there's a solution. The internet has made independent learning easy for all. No matter where you live or what you do, it's possible to master spoken English without schools. All you need is an internet connection. In the next chapter, I will introduce the solution to English trauma. We'll learn how to heal and how to finally get the result you want with English speaking.